That's about an intro.
That's the answer. That's the answer.
Oh,
Both?
Both, Rabbi Berger.
oh no, I guess my parents are my slave master.
No, slave name.
Okay, Shmuel Bey. So the story is like this: David left Yerushalayim together with Itlai Hagiti and his 600 men. He's kept with the Keresi and the Plesi. Those are different units of the army. He sent the ark back to Yerushalayim, and this is just after the beginning of the rebellion of Avshalom. Okay, yesterday we mentioned that he met an old friend of his just after davening to God. Sorry. He found out that Achisofel, or he worked out that Achisofel, who was his advisor, had joined the sides, had turned coat, is that the word? Right? And had joined the forces of Avshalom. And he prayed to God that God should undermine, make foolish the advice of Achisofel. And just then, as he's climbing over the top of the Har Hazeisim, he meets Hushai HaErki, who is the close friend of David. And then he says, Hushai, you're an old man, you'll be in the way if you come with me into the desert. Better that you go and plant yourself in the camp of Avshalom by pretending, the way the Malbim sees it, as being both a supporter of me and Avshalom. And explaining to Avshalom that you love David still and you're his friend, and you think the best thing for both of you is to make up. Don't chase David till you kill him, right? Which would be Achisofel's advice, because that way, if you do that, then it could be that people will rebel against you because they also like me. The best thing is to encourage David to come to peace with you, and David will retire and give you the Melucha. So if you can convince Avshalom that that's your plan, maybe he will accept you in his camp, and that will undermine Achisofel's plan. That is the way the Malbim explains the intention of David to get Hushai accepted in the camp of Avshalom, right? And if you find any information, you'll pass it on to me, because you'll pass it on to the Kohanim will pass it on to their sons, and their sons will come. It's called Achimat and Yonasan. All right? So that was the end of chapter 15, and chapter 16 started. As he continues the journey, he meets a new person called Tziva. Who is Tziva? Tziva is the slave or the servant or whatever of Mephibosheth. Who is Mephibosheth? Mephibosheth is Yonasan's crippled son. Okay? And he comes along with 2 camels laden with hundreds of loaves of bread and raisins and dates and wine for them to eat and to drink, and be merry. No, it's to eat and to drink and to survive the desert. Right? This was brought by Tziva. That's where we're up to. So the beginning of chapter
Dead Zion.
16. Yes, Tezayin, page 35. Vayomer HaMelech, we did that. Possible Gimel. Vayomer HaMelech, right? Ve'ayeh ben Adonecha. Ayeh is where, right? Where is the son of your master? Now, your master here refers to Yonasan, who was David's very close friend, and the son is Tziva, is Mephibosheth. And once again, where is he? Why are you here on your own? Why has he not come with you? It's a bit of a strange question. I don't really have a good answer, because he's crippled. Where do you expect him to be? He's going to come with me, right? Obviously, he's stayed behind, but that's also a bit strange. I mean, it's strange. I'm not sure exactly what do you expect Mephibosheth to do? Is David's very close to every day he eats at David's table as one of David's, as if he were one of his princely sons, right? That was what David said. He should eat at so he lives in Yerushalayim, although his fields are in some Benjamin territory further north, and they're looked after by Tziva's own servants and Tziva's sons. And Mephibosheth lives in Yerushalayim, and he didn't join David's
fleeing party.
Yeah, there's a word for it. Fleet.
Refugee caravan?
No, fleet, from the word fleet. Flight, that's the word. He didn't join David's flight out of Yerushalayim. So he asks, where is he? Means if you already come and you brought this stuff, you suppose you could have come too, right? Okay, he would have been on the back of a donkey, right? Because he can't walk properly, but he could have come too. Tziva says, El HaMelech to the king, Hine, behold, surprise. Hine always means surprise. Yoshev Yerushalayim, he's sitting in Yerushalayim. Why is he there? Why did he come with you? Ki Amar, because he said, or he thought, right? Amar doesn't have to mean said out, but he said to himself.
What is the word Judea?
Doesn't mean don't know. It means you said you were going to be a fly on the wall. I'm not asking questions like that, right? Okay. I don't know.
Lost it. You
I
lost
don't
it
know.
all.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
No, it means he said to himself, right? It's not just a thought that went through his head, which is the word chashav, as you mentioned. Chashav. No, there's a lot of thought behind this thing, not just chashav. Kiyama. This is what he said to himself. Hayom, today, yashivu lui beis Yisrael as mamlechus avi. The household of Israel will return to me the kingdom of my father. You have to remember that he is probably one of the few remaining, or possibly the only, we'll find out maybe there's others, but the one most likely to be the heir to the throne of the royal family of Shaul. Right? All Shaul's sons were killed in battle. And this is the remaining grandson. And the kingdom has moved over to the house of David, but if David's lost it, and Avshalom's taking it over, but who says the people will accept Avshalom? See, God's got it in for David, clearly, because he's been thrown out. Who said the people will accept Avshalom? So the next best candidate is me. Okay, there's a certain negative aspect of being crippled, but in claim to the throne, it doesn't, there's no law that a cripple can't be the king. So that's what he's thinking. He's thinking he's turned against you, David. He's not joined Avshalom, but he's pretending to join Avshalom so that if the people don't accept Avshalom, he'll get the kingdom back for himself. And that's why he hasn't come. But Tziva, I'm loyal to you, King David, and that's why I brought you this present. Okay? And is this really true? We don't know. If someone comes to you with a nice story like that, you want to think, well, really? Should I believe him? Should I not believe him? I don't know. Would you have believed him? No, you wouldn't, because you know the story. That's not fair.
Because he eats by my house every day.
No.
So I trust him.
No. You have to understand that not everyone is such a big tzaddik like you. There are a lot of very ungrateful people in the world. There are lots and lots of very, very, very ungrateful people. And the more you do nice things to them, the more they don't like you. Right? There's a very famous story. Shaul's, what's his name? Chaim Sonnenfeld, the rabbi of Yerushalayim. He wanted a big favor for somebody, and then it could be lent him a lot of money. He did it. He did a big favor to him, and then he came. Here's a little bag. I've got a bag of like small stones. He says, what are they for? They're so that when you want to throw stones at me, you'll throw small ones and not big ones. Right? Yeah. That means that you think that when you do favors to people, they're grateful to you. Right? The truth is that people feel bad. People don't like to receive favors. They'd much rather they didn't need you. And every time they see you, they see their inadequacy because they needed you, and you're the source of that negative feeling. So when they have opportunity to throw stones at you, you'll be the first guy to do it. So yes, it would be nice if people were nice and tzaddikim, but unfortunately there's a lot of not nice people. And that's all Tzivah says. Yes, you did it. Because don't forget, he eats at your table, but he actually thinks that he should be king, not you. You took the kingdom away from his family. Okay? So that's so. Anyway, it seems from the story, whether you should or shouldn't have, but David believed him. That's what it says. Because David sees, well, where's Tzivah? Where's Mephibosheth? Why did he come? So you have a very good explanation, which is that he's crippled and he's stuck there, right? But so what? That's not a reason for him to come. He could have told you, you're his servant, strap him to a donkey, just like you brought these two donkeys full of bread and all that. He could have told you to strap him to a donkey and we'll go out with David. Okay, he'll be in the way, but at least he could have come and said goodbye. Right? We had Hushai Eriki. He came, and I told him not to stay with me, to go inside to Yerushalayim. We had Itai Agiti. I tried to discourage him from staying with me, and he insisted to stay with me. In fact, he's an advantage. He's got 600 soldiers with him. Okay, but and what's his name? Tzadok and Ev Yosef. They came with the ark, and I told him to go back. So he could have come and said, "Look, David," come crying and said, "I'd love to be with you, but I know I'll be in your way," and we'll give him a big hug, and he'll go back to Yerushalayim. He didn't. What's he done? Nothing. Back stayed in Yerushalayim. So
I think he also, at this point, David is already, so many people betrayed him already. Right. He's gone through all this betrayal, So now he's asking this question of where is your master?
Right.
Like, and I'm like,
No.
is another one that's going.
Yeah, but that's the question. At least, no, my question isn't whether he should have a doubt. My question is who should he trust in this story? So he hasn't heard the other side of the argument yet. He hasn't given Mephibosheth a chance to defend himself because he's not there. Right?
Why is Ziba telling David this?
Because David asked him, where's your master? Explain to me, why is he not here?
Is Ziba on Team David?
Well, it looks like he is. He comes with all this stuff, no? He comes with 2 loads of bread and loads of
Is
raisins.
that why he comes?
He's coming to help. He said, no, he was asked, what's it for? And he said, this is for the men, this is for the women, this is for the boys.
Right.
So he's shown his allegiance to David. And David says, okay, you're on my side. Where's your master? And he says, well, he's not on your side. He's on the contrary. He's on his own side. Right? He's not on Avshalom's side. He's not on your side. He's hoping that he'll get the Melucha back. Wow, David's shocked. What a traitor. What a ungrateful. Right? Exactly. Ungrateful. Right? And David gives him a leg. What does he do? Let's see what he does. I'm just pointing out that David hasn't hurt both sides. He hasn't given a Mephibosheth a chance to defend himself, but he's got the evidence. Who needs defense? I've got clear evidence. You're here. He's stayed behind. He didn't try to come and say hello or goodbye or anything. And that's it. That's a sign that he's betrayed me. He's a traitor and he deserves to get whatever he's coming to him. Right?
Yeah, he could have been the one that sent the bread and everything.
That could be. That's the end of the story. That's the truth, right? But that's not what Ziba says, right? Okay, but why send the bread? Why not come along? Come along and say, hi, here's a bunch of flowers, and we'll cry or give a big hug. Could have done that, right? Okay, you have to see at the end of the story, you'll find out what the truth is. Anyway, in the meantime, David believes Ziba, and he says as follows. He said to Ziba, Hine lecha, behold, there is to you, Hine, behold, lecha, to you, kol asher leMephibosheth, all that belongs to Mephibosheth. So we go back in the story, Mephibosheth hid out in somebody's house. A guy from Lodavar, Amiel from Lodavar. And he didn't have access to anything that was his, and it was run, his estate was run by Ziba on his behalf. But he hid thinking that he would be a target for the king. When the king found out about it, on the contrary, I love you, you're my best friend's son, and I look after you, and he reinstated him in his property. And he gave him everything that was his, including possibly what David had taken as the next in line. David's wife was Ziba's auntie. David's wife was
Mephibosheth's auntie.
Mephibosheth's auntie, right? So she may have taken the property of Shaul as being the last member of the family alive, right? I don't know how accurate that is, but and so David says, see, take it, everything that isn't you're entitled to, take back. And Ziba will help you look after it, because you're crippled, and Ziba will look after it. And now David's taking what he gave to Mephibosheth, is now taking back and giving that to Ziba. I said, Ziba, you're the guy who's remained loyal to me, you can take it, all that I gave to Mephibosheth. Ziba was very grateful. What does he say? Hishtachavesi. Hishtachavesi means I have prostrated myself. Now, it doesn't say and he prostrated himself. It's like to prostrate himself in word instead of in action.
Yeah.
Right? It may be because they're in a hurry, they're running away from Avshalom. Now isn't the time to get down on your knees and, but it's a way of showing my appreciation. I accept, thank you very, very much. I should find favor in your eyes. Adonai HaMelech, my master, the king. Now, I would have said, I have found favor. It means I'd love to continue to find favor in your eyes, as I have now. May it continue for a long time, that you will be I'll be in your good books. Okay. Uba HaMelech, so that's the end of that conversation, and they carry on together. Uba HaMelech David ad Bachurim. The king David came till Bachurim. Bachurim is the name of a place. It doesn't mean he became youthful. It's the name of a place called Bachurim. We have mentioned it once before, maybe twice, at least once. Who was it? That fellow who was in charge of looking after Michal. What was his name? Anyone remember?
The fellow that was in charge of looking after Michal.
Palti ben Laish. Right? Michal was given to him to look after. When there was a split in the kingdom, when David ran away and his wife was left behind under her father's jurisdiction, he gave her to be looked after by Palti ben Laish. Anyway, when David asked for his wife back, it says he accompanied her till Bachurim. So this is a place in the Judean desert beyond
What does look
Har
after my
HaZesim.
wife mean?
Some other time we'll discuss that, because that's not the point now. That over there it meant to marry her. Okay. But he didn't. Behine, And behold, Misham, from there, means from the town of Bachurim, Ish, there was a man, Yotze, coming out. Means before David got to the town, a man left the town. Apparently he heard that David was on his way, and he came out to greet David. Right? Who was he? Mimishpacha Shaul. He was from the family of Shaul. He wasn't a son or a grandson, but he was a cousin, uncle, some relative of Shaul. Ushma, and his name was Shimi ben Gera. Okay, this is a very famous guy, although we haven't had him before, but this story is very famous. Shimi ben Gera. Apparently he was a big Talmid Chacham, right? Although we don't see that from the story, right? Apparently he was the head of the Sanhedrin, which means that he was very well respected. Okay? But Yotze, Yatzo, Umekalel. He was going out, and on his way out he was cursing David. As he came to greet David and cursed him out, as they say.
Wow.
I wish I could hear that.
What did he say? Let's see. By Yisakel, not only did he do that, by Yisakel ba'avonim es David. Sakel,
It's like to stone.
right, to throw stones. Yesterday we had the word sakel, it meant something completely different because it was with a kaf. That it meant to be silly. The sakel, to make the advice of Achisefel silly. This is with the kuf, and it's the word skila. When someone gets skila, means he's stoned by the Beis Din. So here he threw stones at David. By Sakel ba'avonim es David. He threw stones, and not just at David. V'chaskal avdei HaMelech David, and all the servants of King David. Means all his ministers, his officers who were there. Right? I don't know if he was right next to them. That would be a bit silly. You just get arrested and your head chopped off, right? He was probably on a hill which was parallel with where David's path was, and he started throwing stones and cursing out David.
Because he was the descendant of Shaul?
Well, that's had something to do with it, probably. Right? That was
Because
probably.
he was now in a vulnerable position where he feel like he could act.
Or he
Yes,
just hates
possibly.
David.
Yeah, well, yes, possibly, right? That means he had always, he'd always held it against David for taking over the throne from his family. What can you do? He's the king. But now the king was on the run. Now he felt safe to react like this. But there's more to it. We'll see in a second, right? And not just to the king and to his servant, v'chal ha'am, and all the people, v'chal ha'giborim, and all the mighty men, mimino, to his right. Whose right? I'm not sure. Either his right or David's right. Umismala, and to his left. So he's throwing stones all around the place to all the people who are around.
Busy boy. It's like
Right.
Hagad Gavirin.
Right? Probably not small ones like the story a minute ago, right? Big stones or whatever he can throw. Giborim are the mighty one. Like David's mighty
This is
opposite.
an older gentleman. Do you think he's like throwing giant?
I don't know. I didn't say
He's
giant.
using like a chain
I must
to
admit they're not
catch
little
fish.
marbles. He's doing as big as he can throw. Okay.
He's really pretty.
B'chama Shimi b'kalalon. This is what Shimi said in his curse. What was the text of his curse? Say, get out of here, get out, go out. Ish hadamim, a murderer. Ish means the man of blood.
wow.
Right? The man who has killed innocent people. The Ish habiliyal, and the man without conscience. Beli means without. All means a yoke.
What is a yoke?
A yoke is what you put on the back of a cow or a bull so that it goes in the right direction when you want it to plow a field. Okay, so it has something on its neck, it holds it down so you can't look all around the place and see there's a delicious food over there. It goes exactly how it's supposed to.
Wow.
So a guy with an oar means a guy who does what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
Right? But a guy without an oar does whatever he wants. So this is the accusation of David. Now, why is David being accused by the head of the Sanhedrin as being a murderer and a guy without conscience? Well, that's
Because
not
of
very difficult.
Bathsheba.
Exactly. Clearly, it's a reference to the story of Bathsheba, where David did whatever he wanted. First of all, he slept with her, and then he took her as a wife, and then he killed her husband. So I think that's a good description for those who didn't come to my class, right? I don't know whether the way Chazal looked at this story, that quite correctly to accuse David both as a womanizer, adulterer, and a murderer. You could accuse him of murdering Avner as well, because Yoav killed Avner and David made it as if he had nothing to do with it. Again, Avner was the chief of staff of Shaul's army, and after Shaul died, and Avner wanted to make peace between the two sides, Yoav, who was the head of David's army, killed Avner. Now, David had nothing, in truth, David had nothing to do with it, right? And he put on a good PR, they had nothing to do with it, but, no, PR is just Shimei may not have believed that, right? Somebody else was also killed. Who was that? Ishbosheth. Who was Ishbosheth?
The Ben Shaul.
Ben of Shaul, right? Shaul's son, right? Who was the remaining son who was alive, and he was the king, right, of the northern kingdom of the Shaul's kingdom after Shaul died, and he was murdered by, anyone remember the names? You don't remember. Rechav and Ba'ana. Rechav and Ba'ana, they murdered him, and again, David had nothing to do with that. But who says he didn't have anything to do with it? You say you just had to, paid someone to do it and take the blame, and you killed them for doing it. Yeah, but that doesn't mean you didn't do it. Right? That just means you pretended you didn't do it. So that could also be part of what's the blame. I don't think you need to say that. I know that the Malbim says that the murderer he's accusing are those of Avner and Ishbosheth, but I would say his accusation is Uriah, right? But Uriah was killed in battle. Yeah, sure, he was killed in battle. You just slept with his wife. You took his wife as you married, and then you just happened to be at the front. You just happened to get killed. So just like you and I know the real story, Shimon Meir also knew the real story.
No, but he's related to the other guy. Like, why would he not be more?
Who's related to which guy?
Isn't he his son Shaul?
Yeah, exactly. That's why he's got it in for David.
Yeah, and who's the guy that? Isn't the guy that became friends with David and died? And you said that people. No, the guy that you just said, the second person. Uzziah.
He's saying it's weird that the guy, if I'm correctly, he's saying it's weird that the guy from Beit Shaul would say that to David about something that's not related to him, which is Bathsheba and.
Oh, I understand.
Whatever. And,
I understand, but in any case, what does it mean, Belial? Right? Belial, without any conscience. What does that mean? That's describing the murder. You've already said murder. Ish Adamim, your murder. Who did you kill? You killed Ishbosheth and you killed Avner. Okay, so what's now Belial? That's a clear reference to the story about Sheva. So once that's a reference to the story about Sheva, why can't the murder also be Uriah?
No, but the other one could be without conscience because he's like, without conscience, you didn't even admit to the murder that you did because he was
Which murder?
The one that.
Of those. Yeah. Okay, you could say that, but all right, I hear.
Wait,
and isn't he related to that person?
No, I understand,
Right.
but I don't think that's the reason why he's got it in for him, right? It could be. I understand that's what's behind the Malbim's chat. But then why say two things? You're a murderer and you didn't admit to murder. Whoever admits to murder. Obviously, if you're a murderer, you're not going to admit to it. You're a murderer. That's the end of the story. That's the accusation. No, I don't think so. I think that everyone understood that was David didn't kill Avner. That it was Yoav who killed Avner, and it wasn't David who killed him either. The reason why he's got it in for him is from the house of Shaul. But his accusations are David's not fit to be king. How can we have a king who sleeps with his subjects, his officers' wives, takes them as wives, and has them the officers killed in battle? Like, how can we have a king like that? And from his perspective, he was probably right. Well, he didn't know the story. But the reason why he suddenly came back, I think, it points out, which is the reason why he's coming out with this, is because David's in a vulnerable position. And he thinks he's going to get away with this. Right? David's on the run, that's it. The next king's Avshalom. He's not a big supporter of Avshalom, right? But he thinks Avshalom is much more suited to be king than his father.
Did David kill Shaul? Or no, I'm just asking.
No.
Because I don't know that story.
No. He got killed in battle by the
Okay. So there's no reason why, someone from Beit Shaul would hate David because of what happened.
No,
to
there
Shaul
is.
and
No,
David.
well, yes and no, but the kingdom was taken away. Understand?
By
The kingdom
force.
was.
Or that I don't know. I'm just
Yeah,
asking.
David became the next king, and he
Right.
wasn't from the family. Put it like that. That's enough of a reason not to like him, right? They could have thought that David had a lot to do with it. David was also an outlaw. During the reign of Shaul, David had to run away from Shaul. So people who sided with Shaul saw David as the enemy, right? We all side with David because we've read the story. We like David to him, right? That's right. But if he lived at the time,
Nice kids. There's a good kid song.
yeah. Right. So we like David, yeah, and it's good that we like David. But if you lived at the times, that's not so clear who you should support. Okay. So this Shimei ben Gera, who is a man of great stature and greatly respected by the people, is there cursing David, thinking that that's God's will. That's what's the right thing to do. Okay. And he curses David, get out of here, you murderer and man without conscience. Hey Shiv Alecha Hashem, God should return to you as called Demei Beis Shaul. Now this is referring to what you say. which is all the blood of the house of Shaul. It's all the people of Shaul who have been killed. Although David didn't directly have much to do with that, right? Maximum, right? Not the whole of the house of Shaul. It was maximum Avner, who was, yes, related to Shaul, Shaul's cousin, right? And Ishbosheth. But the whole family has now been what's the word? Wiped out, right? God should put all that on you. Heishiv Hashem has called the Mebei Shaul. Hashem malachta tachtov. God has returned. I mean, He has. Not Yashiv, and he's not praying this. This has happened. This is all, you deserve all of this. This is all happening to you because of what you've done. He's put on your head all the blood of the house of Shaul. Hashem malachta tachtov, that you reigned in place of him. Doesn't say because you wiped them out, but they were wiped out and you took their place instead of giving it to the rightful grandson or whatever it was. Yiten Hashem es hamlucha, and now He's given the kingdom b'yad Avshalom b'necha, in the hand of Avshalom your son. And you're not getting what you deserve. You're getting what you deserve. You shouldn't have ruined it. You should never have taken it away from Shaul, and you're not fit to be king in any of this. V'hincha bera'asecha, and you are evil. Means even in your family it shouldn't be you. Ki ish damim atah, because you are a murderer. So it looks like there's lots of things being taken against him. Possibly the death that he caused in Shaul's family, the fact that the Shaul's kingdom has been taken away from them, and he's just an evil person in any case.
Is there any other notable places in Tanach where the description Ish Damim is used?
No idea. My knowledge of Nasi is very, very limited. Ayomer Avishai, do a word search there. Ish Damim, I don't know.
Man's blood.
A bloody man.
Yeah.
Avishai ben Tzurah. Who's Avishai?
Son of
Anyone know? Yoav's brother. Right? Remember there were three brothers: Avishai, Yoav, and Asael.
And Asael was killed by Avner.
Correct. And then Avner killed him to avenge his brother. Three nephews of David, all sons of David's sister Tzeruya. One is the head of the army. And you can imagine, one head of the army, the other two were also reasonably good soldiers. All right. So now one of them, Avishai, said to the king, "Lama yikalel hakelev hazeh." Why should this mace hazeh? Why should this dead dog curse you? That's what we think of this guy. Chutzpah, to curse the king like that. Why should we let this guy away with this? Es Adoni HaMelech, I'm asking the king, Ebrona, please let me go. It means give me permission to go over there to where this guy is. The Asira es Roshai, and I will remove his head. Well, that'll put a stop to his curse. Ayomer HaMelech, the king says. This is a bit of a difficult pasuk. Let's try and do justice to it. Ma'ali v'lachem b'nei Tzeruya. What is to me and to you the sons of Tzeruya? Now the sons of Tzeruya, because he's referring also to Yoav. Well, it sounds like he's trying to say, you guys just get me into trouble. That means you're just continuing the tradition of the sons of Tzeruya, right? Which is to get, instead of like allowing things to be calm and settled, you get involved in the action, right? Okay, that means when Avner wanted to make peace, and Yoav killed Avner, and that put what's it called? Spanner, right? In the works to ruin the peace. In the end, they got peace, right? But that certainly was a dangerous move of Yoav to kill Avner. Yoav killed Avner because Avner killed his brother Asael, right? But that's another thing. He killed him in self-defense, whatever. That's another story, right? Okay, but so now this is another example. Now is not the time to start provoking Shimi Ben Gera. It's not going to help. Yes, it'll stop him from cursing God, but do you think that's going to help the situation? Is it going to make the situation better or worse? Is this curse a big deal? So the guy cursed you out, what's the difference? It makes a big deal, guy gives you a curse, right? You think God cares about people's curses? Right? If God wants that I should suffer, so I'll suffer. The guy's curse won't make any difference. The only thing you're going to do is to provoke more people who are supporters of Shimi Ben Gera will get worked up about it, right? That's what it means. Mali, what's the to me, v'lachem, and to you means really saying, I don't want anything to do with you guys. Although he ain't got much choice because his brother's head of the army. But I'd rather you leave out of this and mind your own business. Don't get involved. That's, I think, the right thing. Mali, what's that to me, V'lachem, and to you, means I don't have anything to do with you guys. B'nei Tzuruya, including Yoav. Even though Yoav hasn't said anything, but this is just an example of what the children of Tzuruya do. They're hot-headed. Okay? Ki, sorry, not ki. Ki's got no vowels. You don't read the ki. Kai yikalel. That which means, thus he should curse. Means, let him curse.
Rashi says Ken instead of Ko.
What, Ken?
Yeah.
But it doesn't say that.
That's,
It says
that's
Ko.
what Rashi says.
What do you mean it says? What, it's a different girsa? That's just translating it. Ko means, Ken means yes. Yeah? Yeah. Ko, but look, Ko doesn't mean yes. Okay, that's how you would translate it, but it's not would Ko. It's like, Ko sevorchu es b'nei Yisrael. What does that mean? Kayama,
Thus said
right?
the-
Right. No, it means thus. Thus.
Yeah, thus said
Okay.
the Lord.
Ko yikalel, right? Thus, which just means let him curse.
Yeah.
Ki Hashem amar lo kalel. David, God told him to curse me, right? You think he can curse me without Hashem? Look, if Hashem told him to curse, it's not going to chop his head off. And if Derek didn't tell him to curse me, then his curse is not going to make any difference. So what are you worried about? Ki Hashem amar lo kalel. David, Hashem told him. Umi yomar. So who can say, Madua asisa kain? Why did you do this? He did it because God put it into his head. God wants me to feel bad about God's punishing me. That's the reason why I'm running away from Yerushalayim. I'm running away from Solomon. So this is all part of God's plan. Maybe. And if not, well, then it makes no difference either way. So it really doesn't make any difference what you care someone gives you a curse. Doesn't make any difference. If you deserve it, you deserve it. You don't deserve it, you don't deserve it. So leave him alone. He's just going to get us into trouble by doing this.
Was she be the head of the Sanhedrin?
That's what Chazal say, yes. I don't know how they know that. That's what they say. I mean, there's no hint over here. David el Avishai. David said to Avishai, Ve'el kol avodav, to all the rest of his servants or ministers, Hine, behold, Beni, my son, Asher yotza mi me'ai, who came out of my stomach. Now that's not really true. Your son doesn't come out of your stomach. Maximum it comes out of your wife's stomach. But that's not really true either. She comes out of the womb, but just a way of saying it, right? Okay. Beni asher yotza mi me'ai mevakesh. He wants us now. He wants to kill me. So how can I have claims against this guy from the house of Shaul? For sure, he's just doing what comes natural. My own son wants to kill me. Meaning that God's got it in for me. So that's all part. I just have to accept this part of God's punishment. Even my son wants my life. Va'afki, that's a way of saying kal v'chomer in Hebrew. Right? Kal v'chomer is an Gemara expression, right? Va'afki means also that. But what it really means is all the more so. If my son, who is my own relative, wants to kill me, all the more so. Ata, now Ben Hayamini, that's the Benjaminite, the guy from Binyamin, right? Well, I understand he's a relative of Shaul. For sure, he's got it in for me. Hanichulai, leave him. Hanichum is like the word Noach. Noach means to rest. Leave him alone. V'yikale, let him curse me. Ki amaloi Hashem. Hashem told him to curse me. Right? It's basically the same idea as the previous pasuk. What he's saying is that it's like clear this is all God's got it in for me, and I just accept this as part of my punishment.
There's a lot of understanding, humility, and patience.
Yes, it could be that David's purposely doing this because he feels that maybe that will help him. It's the last time he had a test of doing something, he failed. Like one of the things he did was he killed Uriah, right? So now maybe he's learning to be more patient with people who, the guy cursed him, right? And he has a good reason to do something, and he doesn't. So maybe he feels this may be part of his kapara, which is what punishments are meant for, right? They're meant to somehow or other train you, teach you to be a better person. Maybe. As he says, that's the reaction to the next pasuk. Ulai, maybe, Yir Hashem will see be'eni. Now, Eini means, what does Eini mean? My eyes?
My eyes.
What does it mean from the word affliction?
Oh.
You see, the word that's written here without the vowels is oni, which means affliction. Right? So, I'm not sure what it's trying to say. It means that Kadosh Baruch Hu will see what's happening to me, and the way I react to this, and then God will give me back good. This will be, if I accept this, I'm patient and understanding and loving, even when I'm being cursed by someone. Well, I have no problem just to send you over and chop his head off. It wasn't like it would get in the way of the flight to Bachurim, but this will be good. It'll stand me in good stead if I have patience with him. Instead of the curse, on the contrary, instead of chopping his head off, on the contrary, the best way to undermine the curse is just to leave him and let him have it, and then God will be patient with me because I was patient with him. Right? That's the idea. God was like, if you're patient with people, God will be patient with you. Yes.
Yeah, maybe.
So the unanimous opinion in the world that time was.
Go on. I have no idea what the unanimous opinion in the world was. I have no idea.
Okay,
I wasn't.
in Israel.
I don't know.
Okay. Was that David is finished, he's done, he's never going to
I don't say unanimous, that's the wrong word, because David had a lot of people who were...
Besides his own supporters.
Besides his group of supporters, it seems that the general understanding was David was not deserving of being king. He had no right to be king because of his lack of self-control.
I mean, he started with 400 people and then the whole of Israel, so... pretty cool,
That's what I think so. That was the people weren't therefore going to kick him out, right? But if someone does the job like his son, then we'll support him. That's why it says that the rebellion was very, very strong and he had lots and lots of supporters, I'm sure. Why? Because they really felt. Like you see, Shimon ben Gera was the one who expressed it clearly, what he felt about them. But other people said it quietly, right? There's always one guy who'll speak out exactly his mind and he gets his head chopped off. David, no. Shmuel wasn't to curse, he let him curse me. All right.
I feel like all of the reactions and character traits of humanity are very well reflected in the story. Like this all seems extremely realistic and plausible, and like just like the ins and outs of politics and.
I think that's why we're reading this, right? To see how we can apply it
like
to
one
us.
of the most like
Right.
lively and like placeable stories that I've ever read in all of Tanach.
We're not really judging the real characters of these real people because we don't really know what these people were like. We didn't live in their times. We don't know what David HaMelech was really like. That's not what we're doing here. But it's written for us to learn from how we should see the way people react and the way we should react and how we should behave. Good. All right. So David and his men went on the way. They continued. They left Shimi. Shimi hoylech, and Shimi is continuing to go. Betzela. Now the word Tzela's got a few different meanings. It sometimes means a Tzela, Tzadi Lamed Ayin. Come on. Second chapter of Genesis. God put Adam to sleep.
It's rib.
Rib, correct. So that's how it's usually translated. That Eve, Chava, was taken from one of Adam's ribs. That's what it says, Tzela. Achas mitzaloisav, one of his ribs. That's only one way to translate it. Right? You see, the word Tzela also appears in the Mishkan, and it talks about the Tzela had Tzofain and the Tzela had Doren. The Tzela Tzofain means the northern side. So the word Tzela also means a side. Okay? So you see, it has two places. Now, in the book of Bereshit, it's not clear what it means either. Who said it means a rib? It means a side. There is an opinion that Adam Rishon was actually Siamese twin. And he had two sides to him, a female side and a male side.
He was like a Siamese...
Siamese twin, right? A male side and a female. That's what it says. Adam was made male and female. Well, all species were made male and female. There couldn't be the next generation. So why did it say that Adam was made male and female? Why did it say that, obviously, right? Did it say that cows were made male and female? And the bulls were made, and the lions were made female? Obviously, that you understand, right? So obviously man was made. No, it's trying to say that there was one man made male and female. He was both. Right? And then, right, back to back, or face to face, I don't know exactly what it was, not so clear, right? And then HaKadosh Baruch Hu put him to sleep, and he took one of his sides. Tzela means a side, it means he did an operation, and now there were two, right? The two which originally were one, now two. And that's what different understand. Some say it was from a rib, some was... But to the word Tzela here means a side. But Tzela means the side of the mountain. It doesn't mean the rib of the mountain. It means the side of the mountain. Good.
What was the word for rib when we used the fifth rib came up a lot?
Ooh, that just said Chomesh. It didn't say the word rib isn't written there. It just says the fifth.
Oh, that's right.
Question
yeah.
mark. Fifth what? Then you go. Right.
Like,
There we said it means the fifth rib. That's what he said it means.
Chazal solution?
What?
Like, how do we know that it means rib? Is it from Chazal that we know?
Oh, that it ever means rib.
Instead of just fifth, like,
Oh, there?
knuckle? Yeah.
I
was
because
like,
you killed someone there. Right? So you got fifth knuckle, you got killed by them. Yeah, I don't know. It's a good place to kill somebody. Just one,
Fifth
one
vertebrae.
just over here.
Could be the fifth vertebrae.
That's not the same thing.
still kill somebody there, though.
Yeah, okay. It's not the same place.
No.
No, vertebrae. That's
Vertebrae
fine.
way at the top.
Going from the top.
You
Or-
got, or even the bottom.
the
It's,
bottom.
the lumbar is completely different. The fifth root would be
Okay.
Unless
like.
you lose enough.
All right. But it's just like your heart. It's just
Yeah.
it's around here. It's perfect. Okay. All right. So what happened? So Shimei is going on the ridge of the mountain, Le'umato, which means opposite. He's following David. You got David's going towards the desert. So Shimei is, or going towards Bachurim, Shimei's following him as he's going. And David didn't get stuck, he's got somewhere to go. But Shimei's not leaving him alone. Haloch, going, Vayikalel, and cursing, Vayisakel, Ba'avonim, and throwing stones, Le'umato, in his direction, V'ipar be'afar. And afar is dust, soil, and he's soiling him. Throwing stones it means he's making David dirty with soil as well. Shimei it wasn't just a one-off curse. He's continuing to follow David as David goes away until David's too far away from him. I don't know, but eventually David gets away from Shimei. All right, should we leave it at that? Yeah, we'll leave it there.
So it was
No, to pay. We got to the pay.
it was common knowledge
Still
in
Shmuel.
the world in Israel. But David HaMelech did with Bathsheba.
Good question. How do we know it was common knowledge? So I asked this in class. Was it common knowledge? There's no way in the story knowing it was common knowledge. I mean, I've read that into the words of Shimei when it says Belial. But Dylan read it as being that he was a murderer because he killed Avner and Ishbosheth, and he didn't admit to it, right? So I know, Chazal, I know it from Chazal. Chazal say when David used to walk in the base of Medrash, people used to tease him about what happens to adulterers. So I see from Chazal understood it was common knowledge. It's not strange that it should be in common knowledge. I know David tried to cover it up, but it's not.
He didn't really do a good job.
Well, we don't know. Well, he might have done. He tried to do a good job. Was he successful? We don't know. I know from Chazal that Chazal believed that David was not successful in covering up, and people found out about it. And once people find something out like that, then everybody knows. It doesn't take long for something like that to become hot news. Get it? Even if you have no WhatsApp or whatever, you still find out very quickly the king's wife, latest wife was actually, he'd slept with her when she was married, and the baby is actually his, and whatever. Okay?